I want to discuss something that a few people have emailed me about lately. And a lot of people are aware that Marxist economist Richard Wolff was a college professor of mine years ago at the University of Massachusetts. And I get many questions from people saying, in high school, in econ, even AP econ, you really only learn what we call capitalist economics colloquially, right? The idea that we have resource distribution, scarcity, supply and demand, and a free market that works perfectly well, price floors, the Keynesian ideas, etc. You're not really getting alternative economic theories in college unless your college offers a class on Marxian economics, like the University of Massachusetts did when I was there. You're not going to get exposed to that either. Shouldn't schools be teaching more than just capitalist economics? And the answer is absolutely. The problem is these economics have become so stigmatized, right? If you have a course in advanced placement economics in high school, and it's half traditional economics, what we would call traditional neoclassical Keynesian type economics, whichever flavor you like, and then half alternative economic theories, people will go nuts. People will say, you're teaching kids to be predisposed to be communist, blah, 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 blah. And of course, the reality is, if presented with multiple economic theories, you were drawn to one that is not the vulture capitalism that we have, maybe we should pay attention to that. And many people will say, the problem, David, is in high school and college, kids hear about this stuff. It sounds so good based on the lack of development that the brains have when you're 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. You're going to distort people's minds at at an age where their minds are so pliable, and you're going to send them in the wrong direction, where really ultimately they would always come back to neoclassical standard economic theory. I don't know that that's true. I mean, I think that by college, you're able to make some pretty good judgments about some things. Yeah, it's hard to think about when you're 21, what is it going to be like to be 55 and potentially have kids? I mean, I can't even imagine what that potentially would be like. And I'm not nearly 55. But I don't think that we should be not teaching alternative economic theories because it would be considered indoctrination. Teaching only neoclassical economics is arguably indoctrination as well, because you're saying, hey, listen, this is the standard. Any crazy stuff you hear about later, that's what you should be skeptical of. You should be just as skeptical of neoclassical economics.
And I was told something that's entering the field of economics is this term called happiness. And it's very intangible, but at some point in some cultures and some people are valuing it much higher than money. And as it should be. Like, if you're making $1 million and you're miserable, why are you doing that?
What good is that? Yeah, no. The entire happiness economics field is growing. The behavioral economics field is growing, although it's not really related to economic systems, but it is in the sense that learning about behavioral economics helps us understand what elements of our economic system do and don't make sense. And this relates to everything from, the paradigm of work connected to so many other areas of life. And in many ways, it is connected. Now, from a purely practical perspective, some people will say, well, capitalist economics is the predominant economic system of the world, and thus it should be the focus. Okay, well, maybe economic history should be more prevalent, and these alternative theories are being taught as historical realities. I don't know, but the point I have is that we have a self-fulfilling prophecy or a vicious circle where kids imagine that there's going to be no alternative to capitalist economics, in part because it's all that they're taught about. And I think that's where there's a big, big opportunity.
Yeah, and we are a partially socialistic state. We have programs in which we are providing our people through our tax dollars back to these people. And I am in the camp that we should be doing more of this. We should be spending, say we take one of the many trillions of dollars we waste on defense budgets.
Yeah.
If we poured that into our education, and healthcare systems, I feel like they might be free.
Oh, it's perfectly logical. And I've said it, the mini story I tell is we've got 50 military bases in Germany. Could we be just as safe with 25 military bases in Germany and taking the cost of the 25 we could close and putting them to other things? And of course the answer is yes.
Why are we protecting Germany? Is there some
Well, we're not. I mean, really, those are there supposedly for strategic reasons because of the placement in terms of the conflicts that we could potentially be involved in there. But you're making a very good point, which is if the idea is really the protection of America and its interests abroad, we could probably be just as safe with 25 German bases in Germany as we would with 50.